Hello everyone and welcome. Today we are going to take a look at groups in SpreadsheetWEB. Groups allow for creating a hierarchy which will determine user access into applications and records. All applications must be assigned to at least one group, and the same is true for users. However, note that group restrictions don't apply to admin users. A non-admin user must be in any one of the groups that an application is assigned to be able to see it and save records. The group's hierarchy works from top to bottom, meaning that a user that belongs to a higher level of a group can access the applications and records that belong to a lower level. In an opposite situation, a user that belongs to a subgroup will not be able to interact with higher level applications or records. Let's see how this works on an example. Here I have an order entry application that can be used to select any number of items for an order and generate a quote. When creating a web application, you must assign the application to at least one group, but you can also change this later by pressing the Edit Application button next to the application on the control panel. This application is currently assigned to the groups California and its two subgroups, San Francisco and Santa Cruz. This means that the users that are in any one of these groups can access this application, but their access to data might be restricted. To demonstrate, we are going to be using two users. One is a San Francisco user and the other is a Santa Cruz user. Both of these users have the user role standard user. A standard user cannot access records that are not assigned to them or the group that they belong to. By default, a save action will assign new records to the same group as the user performing the action. To utilize groups in your workflow differently, you must select which group or user an action button will assign the save record. You can do this from action button options. Let's log in with our first user. Let's now go ahead and create a new record. When we refresh this page, we see only one record here, and that is the record that we just created. Now let's log in with our second user. This user already has one record saved under this application, but as you can see, this user cannot see the record created by the San Francisco user. Records can be assigned to specific users or groups from the status menu. Let's log in with our admin user and see how this is done. To change the assigned group of a record, click the status name under the status column. From the record status page, you can transfer a record to a user or group by selecting from the drop-down. The Groups menu here will only show the groups that the application is assigned to. If we assign any of these records to a different group, including a higher group that any of these users don't belong to, they won't be able to see those records anymore. Now let's take a look at how you can manage groups in your SpreadsheetWEB account. The Groups menu can be accessed by pressing the Tools option and then selecting Groups when you're on the control panel. The Manage Groups page will show all active groups under your account. Here you can add new groups, edit or delete existing groups, and also see associated users and applications. Selecting a group will show you additional options. You can change the name of a group from the group name field and pressing Save. Here we have a group structure that consists of two states and two counties underneath California. Add Sibling option will create a new group that is going to be on the same level as the selected group. For example, adding a sibling group here for California means adding another state. Entering a name and pressing Save will add a new group. Pressing Add Child when a group is selected will create a child group which will be underneath your selected group. Likewise, you can enter a name and press Save to add this new group. You can see all users that are associated with a specific group by selecting that group first and then pressing the View Associated Users button. This will display all active users that are assigned to this group. You can also display the web applications that are associated with a certain group. Pressing the View Associated Applications button will display all active applications that share this group.